Hello and welcome to another BRAW blog with me, your very own Reverend Lindy. For those of you who don't know, BRAW is a weekly blog where I am out and about all over Scotland looking at just some of the fabulous magical places where ceremonies can be held, and this is where I'm starting today. This is Balquhidder graveyard, and I'm starting here because this is where one of the great Scottish legends is buried. That's Rob Roy MacGregor. Now this place is about an hour and a half from Glasgow and Edinburgh, fairly easy to get to. The place we're going to talk about Ceremonies, which is about 5 miles up the road, a wee bit further out, up a single track road, but still fairly easy to get to. But I wanted to stop here because Rob Roy MacGregor, a legend in Scotland because he was part of the Jacobite uprising and he was a bit of an outlaw. Now, Rob Roy MacGregor, his dad was a clan chief. He was Donald Glass MacGregor, I think, and Rob Roy, when he was about 18, like most young men at that time, joined the Jacobite uprising and so was involved in many of those battles and those skirmishes. But and you can read more, a much more comprehensive look at his involvement in the Jacobite uprising if you Google him online. But later on in life he became a really well respected cattleman, and he was doing well for himself. He was living up in Inversnaid, and then he borrowed a large sum of money to try and better himself. So he borrowed a large sum of money so that he could buy more cattle. Unfortunately, the herdsman that he entrusted with the money to go and get the cattle and bring them back took off with his money, and so Rob Roy was left with no money, no cattle and a huge debt. And that debt was called in, and Rob Roy and his wife were evicted from their home up at Inversnaid, and their home was actually set on fire. And then the Duke of Montrose at that time seized Rob Roy MacGregor's lands, and that pretty much pissed him off big time, as it would, wouldn't it? And so Rob Roy waged a bit of a private feud against the Duke of Montrose, which ended up with him getting put in prison, and then he got pardoned, and he eventually came here to Balquhidder to live, and this is where he died. He died in 1734. He died on my birthday, the 28th of December 1734, and he's buried in this very churchyard. But as I say, became a legend through his involvement in the Jacobite uprising, but also because he became an outlaw in his battle against the Duke of Montrose. He hadn't done anything wrong. He had lost his money because somebody else had stole it. His life spiralled, and what did they do? They just, they just made it worse and took all his lands off him. So he was having none of it. But as I say, look online, look at the story of his life. It's really, really interesting. A beautiful wee church here, and they still have services here on a Sunday. Beautiful churchyard. I'll see if I can walk back so that you can see his grave behind me. He's buried here along with other MacGregors, his dad, and I'm not sure who the other one is, and it says on his headstone, on their headstone, it says MacGregor despite them. There you go. So that's where we're starting today. We're starting in Balquhidder graveyard, but we are going a few miles up the road to a place where I'm going to be doing a ceremony next week, and it's a beautiful spot. So let's go and have a look at that. And this is where I wanted to bring you to. It's one of the spots I wanted to show you. This is the Monachyle Mhor Hotel. So this is just a few miles along the road from where we've just been at Rob Roy's grave. As you can see, it's bright pink, and there are quite a few houses and buildings in this area that are bright pink, and you kind of see them and think, what? Why? But actually there is method in their madness, because that pink, that hotel has been pink since the days of Rob Roy MacGregor, and it signifies that the occupants, like him, were Jacobite supporters. And so you still see, as I say, there's still pink houses all around here. I don't know if you can see up in the hill there behind me, there's another one, and again just signifying Jacobite supporters. Maybe one day we'll do we'll go in to a wee bit more depth about the Jacobites. Listen to me, as if I'm some sort of historian. No, Wikipedia. But anyway, we're here at the Monachyle Mhor Hotel. This is a family-run hotel. It's a boutique hotel, family-run. And it kind of started off as there's lots of walking tracks around here, so walkers would come here, and the family had a sign outside saying tea and coffee for walkers, and that developed into tea and coffee and a bowl of soup and tea and coffee and sandwiches, and it's just, you know, evolved into this beautiful boutique hotel. The guy that runs it is a chef. I think he's still the chef here, and he grew up here. This was his family home. But there's the Monachyle Mhor. Back in Balquhidder there's the Mhor 84, which is a sort of pub restaurant, and then down in Calendar you've got Mhor bread, so it's M-H-O-R, Mhor bread, Mhor fish, so they've got their fingers in many pies. But beautiful boutique hotel. Inside, open fires, big velvet sofas, soft music playing, really lovely food. You know, you get a cup of tea, you get a lovely bit of shortbread with it. That's the measure of a good place. If you get a free bit of shortbread, it's no free, but you get a bit of shortbread. So really beautiful, and there are some nice spaces in there that you can hire to have a ceremony. So at the back there, it's closed just now, but they've got a big barn, and so that's for larger ceremonies, larger weddings. I think you actually rent out the whole place if you're doing that. But that can, oh, I think you can you see it behind me? And it's got a yellow and red sign outside. Roll up. That's the big barn where you can have your wedding there. But then there are spaces inside. There's a place called the wee living room, and that's where my couple next week, if the weather is really bad, and it's going to have to be really bad because they do want to do it outside, and I'll take you in a minute up to the spot where they want to have it. But if it's going to be really bad, they're going to do it in the living room. We're going to do the signing actually in the wee living room, so I'll take you in there and let you see it. But a beautiful spot, really nice hotel, reasonably priced rooms. I will be coming back to stay here because the staff are just excellent, and really lovely spot, and it's well off the beaten track. You know, the last few miles you have to come up really a single track road. You know, you could get to it in any type of car, but you feel as if you're in the middle of nowhere. I'll tell you what, it's fair BRAW. The wee living room. This is one of the spaces I was telling you about that you can hire out for your wedding. I'm going to try and walk around so you can see it. There's a big, beautiful log fire there, two great big sofas, and then we've got, you know, tables and benches. And so for next week's ceremony, if the weather is really bad, and it's going to have to be really bad because they want to do it outside, but if it's really bad, we're going to have it in here, the wee ceremony in here. They've got 17 guests, so it's just going to be everybody grabbing a seat where they can. And yeah, so can you see it? It's a really nice space, got a lovely feel to it. Yeah, so it's going to be, the ceremony is going to be in here. And then we might go outside for a blessing if the weather holds off. But hopefully we're going to have it outside. But this is just one of the wee venues that you can, the wee rooms that you could hire out if you were having a small intimate ceremony, whether it be a wedding, a vow renewal. You know, you can have a baby naming in here, commitment ceremony, divorce ceremony, any kind of ceremony. You know, I love ceremony. Okay. And this is what I really wanted to show you, because look at that behind me. Look at that view. And this is the spot where next week my couple are going to get married. Unless they've decided that unless we're getting hit by fork lightning, this is the spot they're getting married. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'll take you on a wee 360 tour. So there are two lochs here in front of the Monachyle Mhor. It's the Loch of Voil and Loch Doine, I think, D-O-I-N-E. And I'm not sure, I should have checked which one's which. And they're going to be standing at that big stone there, that beautiful big stone. And they are going to be surrounded by these hills, looking down into the valley, onto the loch, but just surrounded by nature. I mean, let's listen just for a minute. All you can hear is the water, the wind blowing through the trees, a few birds. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's Fair BRAW. It's Fair BRAW. What a nice spot to hold your ceremony in. And they're going to have a hand fasting as part of their ceremony, and I just cannot think of, you know, anywhere more beautiful than where I'm standing right now. It's gorgeous. I love finding new spots, and so I've just met with a couple. You saw them driving past there. I've just met with them. We came up here because that's what I like to do with my couples. I like to come to the venue and we look around and see where the best spot's going to be, and this is it. This is what they've chosen, and I absolutely love it. Right, that's me for another episode of BRAW. Thank you for joining me. If you like what you see, you know, look up the other BRAW blogs at idoceremonies.co.uk and join me next week. I've no idea where I'm going to be, but of course it will be one of our BRAW Scottish sites. So thanks again for watching. See you next week.